A scintillating morning to all my dear students. Welcome to the new academic year 2021 and 22. My name is Shaheen Miss and I will be teaching you science. Children, your science textbook, it is divided into two parts, Science 1 and Science 2. So today in this lecture, children, let us start with Science 1 and lesson number 1, Laws of Motion. Are you all excited, children, to learn something new? Yes. So let's begin. Let's start lesson number 1, Laws of Motion from Science Part 1. Let's begin, children. To begin with, first, motion of an object. Now, what do we understand by motion of an object? Now, let's see some of the example to understand it. Now, in this figure, children, we observe in the first picture is the flight of a bird. That means a bird is flying. In second picture, there is a stationary train. That means a train, it is not moving. Okay, it is stationary. Third picture, it says leaves flying through air. And the fourth one, a stone lying on a hill. Now, how will you explain the presence and absence of motion? Here, children, in the first one, the flight of a bird. That means a bird is flying from one place to another. That is, it is in motion. Whereas a stationary train, that is, a train is not moving. So therefore, we can say that a stationary train is not in motion or there is absence of motion. In the same way, a stone lying on a hill, it is not moving. So there is absence of motion, and leaves flying through air, there is presence of motion. Did you understand, children? What do you mean by motion of an object? Very good. We see the motion of several objects every day, right? And sometimes we cannot see the motion of an object directly, as in the case of a breeze, right? We could not see the motion of breeze, but breeze is moving. Now, what is breeze? Movement of air. Understood, children? Now, children, just think about it. You are traveling in a bus. So, is the person sitting next to you in motion? What do you take into consideration to decide if an object is moving or not? So, what do we take into consideration to decide if an object is moving or not? That means we decide that motion is a relative concept. Motion is relative. Now, children, if we observe, if the person is sitting into the bus, and the bus is in motion, that is, it is moving from a point to another point. Now, a passenger sitting inside feels that the object outside the bus is also moving with them. So, what we feel like that the object or the person outside the moving bus is also moving with us, right? So, this concept is known as a relative. Therefore, we say that motion is relative. Understood, children? How we relate this motion? Now, children, if a body is said to be in motion when it changes its position with respect to the surrounding. That means you can see a car moving with respect to the surrounding. Now what are the surroundings here? A tree, okay, a signboard, the passage, okay. So these are the surrounding. So a body is said to be in motion when it changes its position with respect to surrounding. Now a body is said to be at rest when it does not change its position with respect to surrounding. Now if we say that a body is in rest, so how we will describe it? It means that it does not change its position with respect to the surrounding. It is not moving. It is stationary at a place. So a body is said to be at rest when it does not change its position with respect to surrounding. Understood, children? Very good. Moving to the next topic is displacement and distance. Now look at this picture, children. Measure the distance between the points A and B in different ways as shown in this figure. Now in this figure, point A and point B, okay, there are two places. Okay, now we can reach from point A to point B in two different ways. The first one is the dotted line which you can see, and the other is randomly from anywhere we can reach to point B. Okay, now if we measure the distance along the dotted line, so children, tell me which distance is correct according to you and why? Now if we observe this carefully, we can say that the distance of that dotted line from A to B would be correct. Why? Because it is the shortest way to reach from point A to B, isn't it? So A to B, the dotted line, the path which you can see we have drawn with a dotted line is the shortest distance. Are you getting me? Let's see one more example. Now look here, there are three friends, Sheetal, Prashant and Sangeeta. Okay, now Sheetal first went to her friend Sangeeta's house on her way to school. Okay, she needs to go to school, but what Sheetal did, he first visited her friend Sangeeta's house. And then Prashant went straight from home to school. Now both are walking with the same speed. Now tell me, children, who will take less time to reach the school and why? Yes, you are correct. Prashant will take less time to reach the school. And why? Because he has chosen to go directly to school instead of visiting Sangeeta's house, right? So there is a difference between the actual distance and the distance travelled. Are you getting me, children, what I am saying? There is a difference between actual distance and the distance travelled. Now what do I mean by this? Let's see. So, what do you mean by distance? Distance is the length of actual path travelled by an object in motion while going from one point to another. Okay. So here we can say that Sheetal is going from where? From Sangeeta's house to school. But Prashant went directly to school. So that is the distance, 1300 meters. So distance is the length of an actual path traveled by an object in motion while from one point to another. And children, now let's see displacement. What it is? Displacement is the minimum distance traveled between the starting and the finishing point. Okay, so this displacement is the minimum distance which is traveled between the starting and finishing points. Understood, children? Good.